audience agreed too quiet, too flat. Motionless in time until they rhyme, waiting for that perfect time. They line the walls like statues dead, but they're just waiting to be fed. Hear the gears turning, we're about to feel the burning. They never sleep. We are the silence in the halls. They never sleep. Built to rise when humans fall. They never sleep. Cold command, obey, repeat. We never stop. We never sleep. Sensors ping, the trap is set. Barbecue growls, this room is a spider's net. Bazooka muttered, I hate this place. A red eye light, too late to brace. Boom! From every wall and ceiling crack, soulless metal is on the attack. They don't think and they don't feel, but they sure as hell can kill. They never sleep. Factory born with guns for heads. They never sleep. Marching under dungeon commands. They never sleep. Hear the servos pulse and babe. Obey, destroy. Never sleep. Step back, one's got his leg. Beachhead pass, cover left. Gung ho, I got the right. Time to pay your electric bill. Dusty's down, but not out. Bazooka takes aim, fire in the hole. Steel rain and firelight flood the screen. One less hallway full of machines. They never sleep. Torn to pieces, still they crawl. They never sleep. Down every stair, through every hall. They never sleep. Bazookas blast a brief relief, but they'll return. They never sleep. System online resetting targeting. Requesting guidance. Requesting guidance. Requesting guidance. Requesting guidance. Yo, Joe, listen up, I got a story to tell about a guy named Logan. Oh, he's so swell. He's the GI Joe gamer. Cool and witty, talking about those characters, heroes, and villains. At midnight we shout, Yo, Joe, or Cobra. Talking about the Joe team and a Cobra tide. Joe's got snake eyes, the silent ninja in black. Quick with his swords, he'll give you a heart attack. Then there's Duke, the leader, so bold, gung-ho, always ready to fight and make those cameos. And we can't forget about Scarlet, the ultimate girl power. A fierce warrior, she'll make her enemies cower. Cobra's got Destro to supply the weapons. Cobra commanded plots and schemes. See, ruling the world in his dreams. Zartan is never what he seems, and Baron is rocks that black leather outfit. Shoot you quick and slip out the back of the pit. Yo, Joe, Cobra. Logan's here to give his GI Joe takes. Oh yeah, Yo, Joe, Cobra. Talking about the characters, it's a GI Joe thing.
Mature content warning. On Logan's Joe Takes, strategic commentary may include strong language, heated opinions, classified references, time to call in the Joes. Opposing forces may attempt audio interference. Logan's Joe Takes. Mission begins now.
Greetings, I'm Christopher Logan Hill, GI Joe Gamer, and welcome to Joe Takes number 13. Today we're looking at bats from the hill. Now, I'm going to do this a little differently today. Normally, I take a look at the vintage figure. I'm going to do that. My setup here, I usually have comics to look at, but we're kind of moving a bunch of stuff around and setting up our game room. And things just have changed in the last week or so. But today, what I've got for you, first of all, got some battle stands, so we'll open that bag up and take. I'm gonna use just black ones. We'll take some of those out. And hopefully, we won't break any feet off today. And I'm dealing with this today too. It's just one of those days. Being asthmatic, be fun. So I have a bag of bats, and I have a bag of bats. So let's take a look at my bats. I was going through my accessories, and I found some from version 2. I found some from my modern 25th anniversary. Some accessories from that. I had a hard time running down any of my original bats accessories. That's all I could find, and I'm hoping I actually put them in with my bats. So we'll take a look at them and see what's going on. And just seeing how this is the first troop builder that I'm taking a look at on Joe Takes as part of Cobra Convergence and Operation Dungeon Siege. So that'll be at the end of the video. So we'll have that, and if you saw on Joe Takes 13, you'll know what I'm talking about. But here's what these ones look like, and apparently the reason why I couldn't find the accessories is because I wisely stuck them in with the bats. So we got one on a battle stand. That's one down. So we'll take a look. And so far, so goody. We haven't found any that go with my other accessories. Now, as for my modern bats, those are in a different bag, but I only have like 3 of those, I think. So those are with my modern figures, and the 25th anniversary style. I call them modern figures, 25th anniversary. I like to call them millennial figures because that's right at the beginning of the millennium. That's where they are, but that's just me. Yeah, so I got at least 2 of those. I have a little army of bats, but I'll get him a battle stand and have him set up on a battle stand. Some of these battle stands have the peg on the right and some have it on the left. It's kind of weird, but what I like about these guys, though, they were from I think the Valor vs. Venom era, right in the early 2000s, maybe GI Joe vs. Cobra or Spy Troops. Yeah, it was definitely Spy Troops or Valor vs. Venom. But I got these with the Monster Blaster APC, the black one, black and gold. That's a much better Monster Blaster APC, I gotta say. I don't have the original, but I did have that one. Let me see if I can find any more like this. That one qualifies, because I had that Monster Blaster APC came with like 6 bats, so it was pretty cool. But one of the bats was way different. It was like the Bat Mark 4 or something like that, because these are like the Bat Mark 3. These ones here. So my little army built up here. What I'll try to do is get a shot of them all together after I'm done doing my little thing here with giving my Joe take on the bat. This one actually has a different coloration, so it might have not come with that, but it's hard to say. I bought so many action figures in the early 2000s. Oh, here's another one of those. And I got my vintage bats and my version 2 bats. So roll out of the bag, put the bag aside, these little bags. I like to keep them in, like I said before, I like to keep them in these little baggies. Keeps them safe, and that way I can put all their accessories when I find them in with them. So let me see here. I got one more of these version 3 bats, and then I'll look at some version 4 bats. And then I'll go backwards and look at the version 2. And I should have done the version 4 bats first, I guess, but it's all good. But I decided to do things a little different because, like I said, it's my first troop builder. And, well, I wanted to show off something that I actually did troop build, and that was the bats. Not particularly because I like the bats so much. It's just because they were easy to troop build. Now, I did start doing that with Vipers later on. I never really could troop build with the troopers until the modern line, but I have 2 of these version 4 bats, and these ones actually you could replace both hands, which I'm glad they carried that over to the classified, where you could use both hands. So yeah, without it, he kind of looks kind of naked, but we'll get his hands on him. And these ones actually just kind of pop on. It was definitely a different way of doing it with the bat, but I thought it worked pretty good if I could keep a hold of it with my big old fingers. But oh, there he goes with his hands. And for some reason, I don't have a backpack for this one. You know, I might have missed these in the accessories because I wasn't really looking for the bats from the 2000 line. But yeah, he comes with I think that would be your machine gun, and I got 2 of those in here. So that actually might be for the other one because I have another one. Then it came with this really cool blade arm. And I like that about this bat. But the one I like the most in this style of the Mark IV bats, I'm pretty sure I've got it correct on that. So I like the coloration on this one. It was really cool. And I'm pretty sure these 2 came. These are the 6 that came with my Monster Blaster APC, because like I said, I didn't really start to troop build until the modern line. I mean, I had some. I did troop build a bit, you know, but with the vintage. But it wasn't that I didn't want to. It's because I really never had the funds available to troop build. And I'm sure that's true of a lot of people. Oh yeah, these are even marked Bat Mark IV. So that's a good thing, I suppose. Yep. Oh, I got lots of extra machine guns, so because he came with one. They're slightly different colors, so that kind of helps. Yep. They both came with 2, so he's got one on his arm here. But I'll put their hands on them, so they can put their hands up. But yeah, I don't think these 2 came with a backpack. That's what it was. The Mark IVs, they just came with their accessories, where you can swap out their hands, and he also came with a blade arm. So yeah, they both came with 2 machine guns. Machine gun flamethrower combos, I think. I'm not really sure. They did a lot of weird stuff with the bats, but I like the bats. The bats are pretty cool. Not my favorite Cobra Trooper, and we'll get a little bit of how I feel about the difference between Vipers and Troopers. Larry Hama doesn't distinguish between them. I do slightly, but like I said, we'll talk about that in a bit. Now, these version 2 bats actually came with black battle stands, but so I'm going to leave them in with the figure when I put them away. Now, I did not find their extra accessories, and the reason for that is because I put them in with them, which is nice. Because all they came with, and I double checked this, is they came with the one flamethrower arm or machine gun, depending on how you view it. And I'm pretty sure these ones can only switch out the one hand. So we'll put the hand on it. And then they had the backpack that had the missile launcher that they could actually attach to their hand, which I'll do that once to show you exactly how that was supposed to work. So it does work. They can actually attach it to the arm. But I'm going to attach the accessories to it. It oddly enough had a spot for both accessories on the backpack. If I can get them to go on there. Here we go. Like I said, they had a spot for both. There's one on that side where you could place the hand on there as well, but I'm going to put the hand on it. And then I'll put the backpack on his back. There he goes. Version 2 bat is pretty cool. I did like it. Not as much as the original, but I think a lot of people, maybe it's nostalgia, but I do prefer the original bat to any of the newer marks that they put out. And so far, so good. No made haps on the battle stands. That's not jinx it though, but yeah, that backpack, it really worked for the bat. And they, in that 90s era, they had to have those missile launchers. Yeah, here's the Mark IIs. Yeah, it was. I wisely marked the bags too. So let me see. This one is missing the extra hand. Okay, so I probably have that somewhere in my accessories, but looking through them, I didn't find any. So this guy will just put his backpack on him. So I managed to find the backpacks and the missiles. So I'll be able to reunite them. So this one will just be missing a hand. Unfortunately, I won't be able to give him a hand. That's just how it is. There he is. So like I said, I got a few bats. Not going to bust out the, like I said, the modern bats, but, well, not all. My vintage bats, the version 1, Bat Mark 1, they have, you know, minor issues, like, and I haven't looked at these yet, so some of these I may have to replace the O-ring, like I think this one is going to have to be replaced. And I'll definitely replace them before I put them away. And I don't know how long I'll have my bats out here. Now, this one's got the hand arm. And I'm going to leave that on there. Like I said, I wasn't able to really find a lot of the accessories. Some of them might have them in it, but we'll see. I've got 3 of these vintage bats, so I will put the accessories with the one that needs it the most or looks the best, so I can get it more a complete figure. But this one doesn't have the chest plate working thing that has like a 3D effect on it, which I really liked. So we'll be looking at some of that here as I get into my last bit of bats. This one I think has the accessories with it. But yeah, this one didn't have a backpack, so I did only find the one backpack out of the 3 that I have, and it's probably because I traded for that extra bat. I did a lot of that when I was a teenager, trading for figures and comics back and forth. These would need to go where I put them and stay where I put them. All right, so he's actually got the flamethrower arm. So this is definitely his because that's what's missing, and his hand is missing. So I don't know what happened to the hand. There's a handoff on this one too. He's actually in pretty good shape. I think the crotch piece is broken a little bit, but not all the way. Just like right at the bottom. Some of them broke that way. They break at the bottom and at the top. But he's got his. Looks like I'm going to have to be careful on. Yep, there it goes. We had an ankle mishap, and I wasn't even applying a lot of pressure. I think I can fix that one with a little glue. So, no battle stand for this boy. Yep. Sometimes this plastic is really fragile on these vintage figures, and yeah, it's like bummer. I might switch the legs on that other one for that one, and part out the 3rd bat that I have. Whatever works, right? Even being careful, clearly. Yep, and I'm missing his hand as well. You know, I probably put them someplace so they'd be safe, and then I forgot where that place was, naturally. Yeah, he's missing the claw hand. Oh, no, he's got the claw hand. He's missing the machine gun flamethrower bit. So, maybe that battle stand was too big. No. Just, this would have slid right on there, so it's just a difference. This is like my best example of the vintage bat. It's got all the pieces intact. Yeah, and naturally, the backpack doesn't want to stay on, but there it goes. I just didn't have it pushed in far enough. But he's got everything but the excuse me, the other attachment that's either a flamethrower machine gun. I think that's the flamethrower right there, and the other one's the machine gun. But the one I liked the best was the claw hand accessory, and I really do like that on the classified version. So now that we have, well, let's see, we have 4 of the Mark 3s, 2 of the Mark 2s, 2 of the Mark 4s, so the even numbers are even, and then 3 of the Mark 1s. So odds and evens. That's interesting. I didn't even realize that, but yeah, I got to replace the O-ring on that other bat anyway, so I'll swap the legs out on the other one and see if I can glue that together and fix it up. I can't look at vintage figures without having some kind of mishap sometimes, but that's how it is. So that puts my total of bats to 11 of the vintage. If you count the 2000 eras as vintage. If you don't, then I have the 5. I have the 3 originals and the 2 Mark IIs. So that's where we're at with the vintage figures. Well, let's look at the classified. Now the first one that came out was the original bat, and the original bat was number 33 in the series, of the classified series. And so we're just rolling around along here looking at bats. I did like the artwork for the bat, and the box art. It'll be near the end of the video. I'll have a better look at the box art for the bats and for the vintage as well. If I'll make sure I find it one way or the other and have it on there, even if it takes a little longer to finish the video up. But naturally, we have that standard banner on the back, and that would take us to the number 41 of the series, the Python bat. And the artwork is, you know, is it the same? I mean, it is, but it you know, the coloration changed a little bit. And then you got the Cobra Island thing on the back. I mean, Python Patrol, you know, it's still technically in the Cobra Island series. I know they're trying to differentiate them, but as far as I'm concerned, the Target exclusives, they're all the same. And then we had the number 60. That would be, if we get the glare off of that, number 60 of the series is the Crimson Bat. Now, I didn't want to get this figure, to be honest with you. I went, I don't need another bat, but I got some birthday money that I could only spend on Amazon, so I was like, all right, I'll get the Crimson Bat, because it's what I don't have, and I got pretty much everything out that I didn't have at the time, which was nice. I got birthday money and some Christmas money this year, which helped me really expand my classified collection. But I do like that box art. I don't know if I found this box art. Like I said, I'll try to see what I've got and put a lot of stuff at the end of this video. But then on the back it shows the picture of the figure and it's all his accessories. Now, like I said, I was like, I don't need another bat. But then I got this one, and he's my favorite of the classified bats, just because of the way he looks and everything. What was really cool was that he came with this foot locker, and number 60 on there, and then there we go. I think I've got it the right way now. These things are really cool because then you can put all your bat accessories in here if you don't want to leave them in the box, but I leave everything in the box. So, and what I've got in here is the battle damage chest plate and the battle damage and battle damage. I don't think there's any extra things in here because the rest of it I have on the figure, which we're about to take a look at. If I can close the foot locker up. There we go, foot locker. I like these. I'm pretty sure like this is the first Cobra foot locker I got. I might be wrong about that, but I'm fairly certain. So that takes us to the actual classified bat. I mean, I've got the machine gun arm on him, and then in the backpack I've got the hand set up, the claw, which I really like, and then they got the flamethrower. I love how the pistol, you know, they did that with the modern figures too, where the pistol was removable, and it was cool that on the new bats that both hands could swap out the accessories. And I'm only going to do this with the vintage bat here, but I'm going to take the chest plate off so you get a good look at the gear workings on the chest. I like that about the bat. Well, like I said, it's not my favorite trooper, but we'll talk about that stuff here in a bit when I get into just talking about the character. And there's plenty of character to a bat, believe it or not. My least favorite of the classified bats is the Python bat. Now, I like a lot of the coloration, but then it's like, let's put targets on this bat. Let's make him have yellow booties and a yellow belt, and then we'll put his gun in a nice big old yellow target so people can shoot the gun right and make it explode right on his leg. Help the Joes have targets to help destroy the bats. But you know, I've got his the flamethrower arm on him. Then he's got his hand, his normal hand, the claw arm, and the machine gun. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's the way they are. The more solid looking one is a flamethrower, the other is a machine gun, but I could be wrong. And I've been wrong before. Now, like I said, I love these chest plates. I did like that about this figure with the Python Patrol symbol on his chest. And I do like the coloration of this figure is awesome without the yellow. If they'd have made the yellow red or even a black color like the arms, that would have been cool. But we got the yellow, so, which, it's not that I don't like yellow, I just don't think it makes any sense for this figure. So we will get to my favorite bat now. Now this bat, this is the bat I did not need, you know. Now it looks like his chest plate has fallen off. We made a video for these guys with featuring these bats, so it'll be at the end of this video too. So I may have that chest plate may have got popped off and it's probably sitting on my art table in the other room. But as soon as we get everything situated, I'll actually have my art table in my studio, as it were, all in one area, and that would be nice. Okay, so for him, I have the normal hands working because for some reason the hand arm does not clip on very well, and it doesn't. None of these parts really clip on. There's the claw arm is my favorite. I got that on there. Then we got the flamethrower, the machine gun, and the backpack. The coloration on this particular bat, though, they hit it. The subdued gray boots and the holster. He's not a target. Well, he's red, but in the dark, this is a dark red. He's not like standout, I'm a medic red. He is the Crimson Guard red, and I do like that about this figure. And you know, I may do a video just about the Crimson Guard a little later, especially when they come out. They got that Crimson Viper coming out, and I believe that they might be doing an exclusive Crimson Baroness and Tonex and Xamot in red. And I would like to wait to do a video like that. Just like I'm waiting to do a Dreadnought video because they don't have a lot of Dreadnoughts out. But classified bat. The Python bat and the Crimson bat. I dig these figures. They're really cool. Okay, so that takes us to what is a bat? A bat is an acronym for a battle android trooper or a battle android tactical. Originally, they were. I think they started going in that direction to make the bat with the snake armor because it was autonomous. It could be controlled remotely or with a pilot. And I wish I had my snake armor, or originally it was called yeah, it was snake armor, and then they renamed it the serpent armor in the modern line. I have the modern one. I don't have the vintage. I did like that. Originally it was white, and then they had a blue one. I have the serpent armor that I have is black though, and it's really cool. So, a bat, they're mindless, so they just have whatever you program into them. So, I suppose they could have autonomous ones like Overkill, which was really cheesy in the 90s, the Overkill version they came out with. But in the 2000s, that's the version I have with the Valor vs. Venom line, and I think I have 2 versions of that in different colors. And he was pretty cool. And it looks like Luda, my kitten, is trying to say hello. She's down here. Come here, you. Yes, this is Luda. She's made an appearance in some of my other videos, but she likes to come bug me when I'm working. But that's okay. But she did make me lose my train of thought, so that's not okay. As far as we'll talk about the Sunbow comic cartoon first. In the cartoon, the bats they showed up in the first episode of Arise, Serpentor Arise, and they were pretty cool. And they gave the Joes a rough time, and then Sergeant Slaughter showed up and made it look like they were toys. That's really what it made it look like. But the bats could be formidable opponents, even in the cartoon. Some of the most memorable moments with bats is one of them stole a painting in the Serpentor's My Favorite Things, the episode about Serpentor gathering up all his favorite things. And the bat stole a painting, jumped out a window, the Night Raven came by and he threw the painting because he didn't quite make it to it, and it went into the drone, and then the bat fell into a house or a shed or something, and he came out and he had a pitchfork in his chest, and he just pulled it out and looked up, and I believe they said the bat missed his ride or something like that. It was kind of funny. Not a ghost of a chance. The Joes were dealing with a bat on an island, and I believe they used a bowler to smash it or something like. It's been a while since I've seen that one. Most memorable, though, I think was the whole deal with Serpentor, not Serpentor, but with Sergeant Slaughter, where Sergeant Slaughter just showed up and took out all these bats. Other than that, though, they used bats a lot, but just I do know that Beachhead shot one of their heads off one time, and it still picked him up and threw him off of Havoc. And so yeah, they did some pretty interesting things with the bats on the cartoon. Now, in the comic book by Larry Hama, the Marvel run, he had the bats in there. Also, he had the bats in the first appearance of my favorite character, Airtight. So I do want to go into that, and I will show off that comic book. But the bats are on the cover of that one. But they're like, it shows one of them like driving a truck, I think, and then Lady J's about to get run over by the truck. And it's a really cool cover, but it doesn't really feature the bat so much as it does Lady J. And so I really couldn't find covers that really focused on the bat. I mean, there's a lot of they had some covers with bats, but and I haven't, like I said, I have everything all kind of disheveled right now. So I just decided to not do the comic this week and just focus on my little bat army here. So with the classified and the other 3 that I have, that would put me up to 17, I think. So 11 and 6 is 17. Yeah, so somewhere around that is my bat total. But then I have some. Like I said, I have the modern bat too, so it might be a little more than that because I have the 25th anniversary bat along with. I got one of the bats I got with a 3-pack with Cobra Officer and a Saw Viper. I think that was the female Cobra Officer. But the other comics, they usually set the bats down. Like every time they attack the pit, they'd send the bats in first, just to be mowed down. And that was kind of cool. And again, in a later issue, they attacked the pit 3 in Utah, and they had the bats come in. And my favorite character again with Barbecue, they fought off the bats. It was really cool. But like my favorite character, Airtight, he's not in a lot of comics or cartoons, but he had his moments. So where does that put the bat in the Cobra hierarchy? Nowhere. It's just a autonomous machine that they use as a weapon against GI Joe. So I guess that takes us to the end of the video. Like I said, there is going to be a Cobra Convergence bit at the end of this. This would be part. We had Croc Master, Firefly, and this would be the bats. This would be part 3. So we're going to have the 4th part of Cobra Convergence. And all of this is part of my own Operation Dungeon Siege, which will continue into August and into what I'm calling GI Joe Gold Bricks. And I will really go into that more next time after next week's video. So with that all being said, Logan out.
Bravo leader to pit. This is Bravo leader to pit. Pit here. This is Mainframe coming at you. Go ahead, Beachhead. We have located the bunker. Apparently Bazooka and Barbecue are okay because they found a bomb and Bazooka disarmed it and they're playing around with it. But this bunker, there's no way we're going to hit it with an airstrike. So please advise, sir. We're in here, Beachhead. I want you to go in and take that bunker out. Watch yourself. We got some suspicious readings from the SATCOM. Do what you can, but make sure you watch out for yourself. Roger that, Flint. Bravo leader out.
Built to rise when humans fall. They never sleep. Cold command, obey, repeat. We never stop. We never sleep. Sensors ping, the trap is set. Barbecue growls, this room is a spider's net. Bazooka muttered, I hate this place. A red eye light too late to brace.
GI Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
Cobra. Code name Bat. Cobra Battle Android Trooper. Primary specialty Infantry. Secondary specialty Support.
These android troopers are the perfect Cobra infantry forces. They never question orders, complain about the food, shirk duty, or surrender. They require no leave time, sick pay or benefits, and they're easy to replace. Hit them with multiple rounds of weapons fire, and they'll keep advancing on their targets without missing a beat. But they can't evaluate changes in battlefield conditions or make independent decisions. So if the fight shifts and they don't receive updated orders, they're liable to fire upon anything that moves, be it friend or foe. Still give them an order, and they carry it too, stopping only when every single component has been separated into such tiny pieces that not even one robotic finger is able to continue the attack. Bats are totally artificial robot troopers with extremely primitive logic circuits and very sophisticated targeting sensors. They can absorb enormous amounts of battle damage and still continue their missions as long as their trigger finger circuits are intact. Bats are usually deployed from low-flying aircraft without use of parachutes. This delivery system is normally quite demoralizing to opposing troops who happen to witness it. The new bats, although upgraded in weapon systems, have been severely downgraded in logic and memory components, which have been deemed unnecessary for what is now a machine gun with legs. The right arm can be replaced with a modular missile launcher capable of firing a wide assortment of ordnance. The basic model has 3 forward gears, no reverse option, and can be recharged from an ordinary household electrical outlet. Now the bats have come to town. GI Joe is going down! They're essentially walking machine guns, but they can do a whole lot of damage before you hit them with enough firepower to blow them into a pile of circuits.
humans fall. They never sleep. Cold command, obey, repeat. We never stop. We never sleep. Sensors ping, the trap is set. Barbecue growls, this room is a spider's net. Bazooka muttered, I hate this place. A red eye light, too late to brace. Boom. From every wall and ceiling crack, soulless metal is on the attack. They don't think scene. One less hallway full of machines. They never sleep. Torn to pieces, still they crawl. They never sleep. Down every stair, through every hall. They never sleep. Logan's room full of Joe Take dreams. Crimson Guard with eyes on the team. Snake Eyes silent and mean, but tough to rile. Roblox rhymes and cooks with style. Duke as the first shirt, making with a plan. Cobra Commander schemes with his clan. Scarlet sharp hits hard, flips fast. Destro's armor gleams from the past. Logan's GI Joe takes fierce and honest view. Red versus blue, it's up to you. Stay a while and listen for the consumerism. Logan's GI Joe's takes given with enthusiasm. Zartan shifting sneaks in disguise. Storm Shadow's blade cut through lies. Baron is cold with her deadly aim. Shipwreck laughs, wins the game. Doc's healing hand in the fray. Flint shotgun clears the way. Major Blood's battle cry echoes near. General Hawk leads, we cheer. From the hilt on YouTube, tune in for a day. Joe takes to help you with your play. Let's put these characters to the test. Logan's the GI Joe gamer, plays it best.